What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Brand new movie dropped today. It's called The Last Days of American Crime. I need you in the comments section down below. Have you read the graphic novel? Were you looking forward to this movie? And did you like it? Alright, so in the not-too-distant future, as a final response to terrorism and crime, the U.S. government plans to broadcast a signal making it impossible for anyone to knowingly commit unlawful acts. This comes to us from Olivier Megaton, the director of Takens 2 and 3, not Taken 1, Columbiana, Transporter 3, so not the best resume, but he does have an interesting sense of action, so I was looking forward to seeing what he would bring to this film. And then you have the concept as a whole. I love this concept. Never read the graphic novel, so I don't have an attachment. I would be interested to see what the differences are between this movie and the graphic novel, and if the runtime of this film actually suits what we needed to get from this, because it's 2 hours and almost 30 minutes long. Yep. And let's start there. Maybe this film had to be that runtime, and I'm just completely unaware of it, but this movie is so long. It was such a trudge to get through. Even at, say, 1 hour and 30 minutes, there would have been moments, surely, that would not have worked or would not have belonged, because there are so many scenes full of exposition, full of moments that don't tie into the overarching plot and mean nothing at the end of the day. That is its biggest detriment. It is 2 hours and 30 minutes. That is way too long, folks. But you have this frequency that apparently blocks the synapses, making it impossible for anyone to commit a crime. And because of this, we're seeing riots, we're seeing Americans taking a stance over their country not being turned into a police state. So you have something that is semi-topical for 2020, and that's cool. If only it would have explored those elements. If only it would have gotten deeper instead of focusing on these main three characters that fit in their tropes and never go outside of that box. I did not know as much as I needed to know about these characters to care as much as they expect you to care by the end, because there is little to no character development. And if you want bright lights and action and moments that will keep some on the edge of their seat and nothing else, right? You turn your brain off, you watch a quote-unquote fun action flick, and you don't get much more out of it, then I think some will enjoy this. It does perfectly suit what Netflix occasionally represents. But if you're paying attention to the movie and you want to see more depth and you want to care more about these characters, I just don't think this film is going to work all that well for you. So you have Edgar Ramirez, who plays Graham Brick. He's kind of the BA character. You have an extremely unhinged loose cannon who is played by Michael Pitt, that is Kevin Cash. And then Shelby, who is the girlfriend, played by Anna Brewster. She starts out as this extremely edgy character. You know from the music cues, you know from the way that the camera is following her in this place, exactly the kind of character she is going to be. Those three individuals, like I said, they fit in the cliches of what their types of characters bring, and they never go outside of the box. They never gave us any inventive or frankly interesting dialogue to work with that makes you care any more than you're supposed to care. And you have really good talent surrounding these main three characters. Charlotte Copley, who I believe is one of the more talented guys in Hollywood, who hasn't really done much since District 9. He's been in a movie here and a movie there, but the guy is so much more talented than the films that he's taking part in. I would like to see him in something that does not come across like this movie comes across, and that is just overlong, drawn out. It's choppy when it comes to its action, and it doesn't take advantage of its really good presence that could have been timely. It's really good premise that could have capitalized on the graphic novel. And once again, I don't know all that much about the graphic novel. All I know is it has to be better than what this movie brought us. Their plan is to lift $30 billion before this signal goes active. And this is kind of their way of getting back at the system that wronged them in the past and is making a decision that is basically taking away people's freedoms. Now, you look at this morally, and it makes sense on the outside, but once you dive in, there are so many more elements that you could pull out of this and so many more things that we could have explored within this movie, but it just turns into a heist/action movie. But not only that, there are scenes, like I said, that take up so much time, and all they are scenes full of unnecessary dialogue, moments that make no sense in the grand scheme of things, and just boring. And I hate to say that for a film like this. Listen, I love a good slow burn when there is a payoff. And I love a movie that takes its time to flesh out its characters, but this film didn't take its time to flesh out these characters. This movie just says, hey, here's a bunch of random action scenes, and here's a bunch of scenes that have nothing to do with the overarching plot, so we're going to give you that and expect you to be on board like 2 hours and 20 minutes later. And I'm not going to lie, guys. I was tired this morning. There were moments I found myself nodding on, and I said, you know what? I can't do this. I have to review this. I have to pay attention. But there's this bird chirping outside, and it's just more interesting than what's going on screen. And that's not good. Why do these action scenes drag on in the way that they do? And I know this director is somewhat known for choppy action scenes, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But it's not only that. It's just there's a 20-minute scene that could have been clumped together in 5 minutes. And I know that sounds bad on the outside. I was like, oh, well, that seems even more choppy, Austin. But no, I'm not kidding. Characters are almost moving in slow motion, pointing the gun at another character. I'm just like, go quicker. And then the action itself, like I mentioned, it is choppy. The edits, the amount of cuts we get in these action scenes, and maybe we're just spoiled today. We get movies like John Wick, right? They're fantastic because we get beautiful wide shots, long takes, and I get it. That's a hard thing to accomplish, to make it look realistic and to give us choreography on that level. But you don't have to give us 15 cuts. You remember the scene that everyone was passing around? I believe it was in Taken 3 when Liam Neeson is jumping over a fence. And I'm not kidding. The camera cuts at least 10 times. There are moments in this film where the camera cuts, angle. I'm just like, guys, we could have had one wide shot that would have accomplished something even greater and made us feel this intensity, right, that builds up in a way that could have made me a bit more positive on this movie at the end of the day, even if you don't get that character development, even if you don't capitalize on this really cool premise. At least give me entertaining action. And to me, while there is a lot of action, it does not refrain from giving you that. And if you don't care about how it's structured, then you're going to have fun with this movie. It all comes down to how you execute it. And I'm sorry, the action was sloppy, especially when you start comparing it to other movies that take advantage of the beauty of filmmaking and the beauty of how some of these action movies are structured nowadays. This film does not do that. It's not pretty to look at. And I think the biggest crime, you get it? That was a pun because of the movie title. I think the biggest crime is the fact that they just did not give us a fun action movie, and they did not capitalize on this really cool idea. I would love to see maybe a show on Netflix flesh out this idea because it's interesting. And like I said, it's topical with what's going on nowadays. But this movie wasn't it. It all comes down to the execution. It just was not executed properly. And Charlton Copley, I need more of you just nodding stuff like this. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Promise I'm not always this negative. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. I'm going to 3. I'm going to 30%. A 3 out of 10 for The Last Days of American Crime. Let me know how you felt in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys so much for watching this video. Later on today, 13 Reasons Why Season 4. I'm right in the middle of that, so we're gonna see how that goes. We'll see. All right, bye-bye.